Aloha, Rich Halverson. This is ITS227, and in this video, I'm going to do server assignment 3. And so, if we look at server assignment 3, it is we're going to do the SQL to-do list API that will interface to our lab 10.11. And lab 10.11, you recall, was the to-do list, the jQuery version of the to-do list. Okay. Just to step back a moment, we're gonna this assignment assignment 3, similar to assignment 2, is we're gonna take what we did in assignment 1, part 2, which is just to implement lab 10.11 on your server in a directory called slash 10.11. And I've added a video. I just made this in the last couple of days. I've added a video here to help you do lab 10.11 if you have trouble doing it. So just watch the video, then you can do lab 10.11, get other points for that, and then you just basically copy the 3 files over into a mine is here, lab 10.11, so yours should look the same, and it's the to-do list, and you can add things, and it works just like lab 10.11. Anyway, and so we're going to take this, and once we're done with our SQL to-do list to be able to store the to-do list in a database, after we're finished making that API, then we're going to modify the JavaScript for this to-do list so it also interfaces to our API. So and then when it starts up, it reads the stored to-do list items and populates the list and so on. And we'll see that work. All right, so let's go back to the assignment. And so if we go back to assignment 3, we are going to start by creating a directory called A3. And so I'm going to take this like one step at a time. First of all, let's go here and let's create a directory called A3. And we have an A1 and A2. Let's create an A3. A3. And inside A3, we're going to want to create a file in A3 named todo_SQL. Create that file and copy in this PHP code from below here. Copy in all this code. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to go into A3, create a file called todo_SQL.php, create file. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to edit this. And I'm going to go over here, go back here and copy this code into, Shift-click, copy all this code, copy, into this blank file here. Okay, this is all the code, and I'm going to save the changes. Now I'm just going to test out some of my error messages. We're still going to have to do some things in here, like fill this in and so on, but I'm just going to run this right now and see what kind of error messages I get. Let's go to the grading assistant and type in my username and my password and click on A3 test. And it ran, that's nice. It says unable to connect to the database. Well, we didn't create the database, it hasn't been created. That's right. So let's go back and create the database. Let's go to manage my databases in cPanel. And let's create a database called assignment 3. Done this before. Assignment 3. Create database. And now when we go back, we see that we have a database here called assignment 3. Very good. Let's go back to cPanel and let's run this again. And it found the database, but now it says couldn't connect to MySQL server because the username and the password were incorrect. Well, that's because we have to put in what the username and the password are. I'm going to copy this username and password. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go back to the file manager. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to do this. Create a new file called pw.php, and I'm going to, inside here, I'm going to create a PHP program that specifies what those two things are. Save changes. And then back here, I'm going to say not this, but include. Now, you don't have to do this. You can just fill yours in here. But I'm doing this so I can continue to make the video and show this file, and you won't see what my username and password are. And you're learning a little bit about include files. So I'm just going to say right here, include pw.php, and that file will be included right in here. And so this will be included, and it'll execute this. So so I should now be able to run this and get exactly the same error, right? Because that's the include shouldn't have changed anything. And you see, I get exactly the same error. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fix this and put my username and password in here, but I'm not going to show you. And then we'll go back to here. And so go back to here and run this again, and it should work, okay? Okay, so with my correct username and password, we get past this point where this actually sends back some decent data. We get a status code of 200, which means the API is accessible and it's working. I'm just going to close this page. And then we test the API. It's able to add tasks because the add method works. The add function works. The add function works. The add function works. The move function does not work. I tried to move a couple of things here, but the remove tasks work. Okay, so it's only the move. It's only the move function that doesn't work. See, the remove tasks, well, they work, but since they weren't there, this is not being removed in the correct order. So anyway, so you get 5 points out of 10 by just getting to this point, and we haven't done any code yet. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add the code down here to move the task from a from a higher number, from lower down in the list to higher up in the list, where the from index of the task is greater than the to index of the task. And so we're going to put that code here. And basically what we're doing, let's take a look at what this thing looks like. Richard, not this one, but A3. I want to see A3 now. A3 to do underscore SQL.php. Let's see what this looks like when we just go to it. Looks like this. And we see there are 3 tasks in there because we added a task. We added these tasks, but we were not able to remove them. Let's see what it looks like in PHP. PHP-MyAdmin. This is all, we've just gotten the thing to work. And we see in assignment 3, there's a table called tasks. Let's take a look at it. And we see this is what the table looks like. It implements these tasks. Each record is a node in a doubly linked list. Okay, so task 1 is the first one, and the predecessor ID, it's these IDs here, is 0 because it's the first one. The successor ID is 2. That's this one. So the one after task 1 is task 2. Its successor ID is 2. And task 2, the predecessor ID is task 1, and the successor ID is task 3. And we look at task 3, and the predecessor ID is task 2, and the successor is 0, which means it's at the end of the list. Okay, so that's how our doubly linked list is going to work. All right, so so we're going to first let's look at let's look at this to-do list here, and this is the jQuery code for the to-do list. If we view the source and we click on to-do list.js, we can see the jQuery code, and here I'm revealing to you what the solution to 10.11 is, because this has to work. You get 10.11 to work, and then you re-implement it here in this directory. And what we did end up adding is this down here, and the move item. We implemented this code, and we implemented this code. Okay. Well, we don't have to worry about remove because that's already implemented in our API. We don't have to worry about any add items because that's already implemented in our API. What's not implemented in the API is actually like this part right here. Okay. And what it is if the from index comes before the to index, then you insert before here. Let's put this up. Here's a whiteboard. Can I make this bigger? Anyway, okay. Let's see. Do I have a pen around here? Here's one. Okay. So we have task 1. Task 1. Task 2. Task 3. And you tell you what, I'm going to add a task 4 and a task 5. How do I do that? Let's see. I can go to my API, and I should be able to question mark add here. Let's look. You should know this. Okay, so let's examine this code here. We first come in and we try to connect to the database using the username and the password that is sent in. I capture your username and password so I can make sure that we're looking at your database and not somebody else's. And that's what. No, this actually tries the API first with this username and password. Anyway, here's the add. So the add comes in as add equals and then the name of the task. Remove is remove and then the index. This is the index of the task, the remove. And then move is from index comma to index. Just like in here. Move is from index to index. Add item is the name of the task, and remove item is the index of the task. So we're basically making methods in here that look just like this, and we're gonna, at the end here or someplace around here, we're gonna send the item off to our API, and it'll get added. And here we're gonna send this command off to the API so it gets moved, and then we're gonna send this off to the API to remove stuff. So let's go to, I was going to add equals task 4. Okay, and what comes back? Task 4 is added. And if we look at the database, just click on tasks again, we see now there's a task 4. You see that the auto grader added these tasks in there, and I also tack on the date and the time in there just so I know what's going on. So if you see any of these things lingering in here, it's because something didn't work, and I've left some cookie crumbs or some remnants of my auto grader. Anyways, okay, so we have a task 4, and we see it was added incorrectly. The successor ID of number 3 is now number 4, and the predecessor is 3, and so on. So we've got 4 there, and let's add one more. I'm going to add a task 5, just like that. Okay. And so now we've got a task 5 here called that. And when we look at the database, the database table, the tasks table, we see now task 5 is in there too. Okay, so really what we have here is a task 4 and a task 5. Make this bigger. Okay, 5. And the W-link list is we got one thing going to here, and this one 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 going back to here, and this one going back to here, and this one going back to here. Okay, and the predecessor is 0, and the successor is 0. So that shows that we're at the end. Okay, so so if we want to move task 2 to spot number 4, so this is index 1 to index 3, we're going to detach task 2 and insert it after task 4. So when this is over, it's going to be, so after this, it's going to be task 1, task 3, task 4, and this is this is going to go in position 3, so that in position number index 3. It's going to go to index 3, which is this one. So when it's over, it's going to look like this. And this is going to be T2. This is T5. Okay, so we're basically going to first detach this. So once we detach this, then we have to take what was here, whatever that value was, it's going to be 3 because it's pointing. That has got to be stored here because this is no longer going to point to T2. It's going to point to where T2 was because T2 is going to be pulled out. And so that way this thing is going to point now to T3. And then the value that was here, in other words, the predecessor of T2 is going to be has to be stored here. So this predecessor of T2 has got to be stored there. So that way this T3 now points to T1 and the T1 here now points to T3. See, so that has to happen. So when we detach this, and then when we attach it, we're going to attach it after. We're going to attach it after T4. See, so the index is smaller. The from index is smaller than the to index. So we insert after. If we go the other way, let's say we want to take this and go back to here, then we're going to insert this. Okay, let's change this now. This is now, tell you what, let's do this. Forget this. Okay, that's, so this is where we are moving T3 to, we're moving T index 1 to index 3. So we insert index 1 after index 3. If we're going to go the other way, let's go the other way. T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we're going to go this way, we're going to detach 4 and put it in index 2. In other words, move, I should put this up here. This one is move 1 to 3, and this one is going to be move, this one is going to be move 0, 1, 2, 3. This is going to be move 3 to back to 1. Okay, so it's we're going this way. We're going this way, see? And so to do that, we take 3 and we're going to insert it before. The 3 is bigger than the 1, so we're going to insert it before. This here is insert after. I'm going to put that up here. Insert after 3. And this is going to be insert before 1. This is when we're going from a lower to a higher, we're going to insert after that one. When we're going from higher to a lower, we're going to insert before. Because so after this is done, it's going to be 5, 3, 2, 4, 1. You see, so the 4 gets inserted before the 2. So this gets inserted before the 2. So the 4 comes before the 2. See that? So this is insert before. When we're going from a bigger one to a bigger index to a smaller index, we're inserting before. All right, so I just want to show you that. Let's put this down. And so let's go back to the code here, which is here. All right, I got some notes here. All right, so we're gonna this loads the tasks. It reads from the task list that's coming back from your this reads up the tasks from the database, from the tasks table, the SQL table, and makes sure that they're stored in this tasks list that gets returned. With every JSON object. It gets returned with every JSON object. So so there's a function here called disconnect, and this is the same as this disconnect function. Is it here? Where's the, oh, it's the same as, I thought there was a disconnect here when we move the item. Oh, yeah, detach. There's a detach built-in method in jQuery. So this is a list from a list items from from an HTML ordered list, which is what the tasks are listed, the way the tasks are listed. This detaches the item to move from the ordered list, and then this item to move is either inserted before the to index. It's inserted before when the from index is larger than the to index. This one is inserted before, or if the from index, if that's not the case, then it's inserted after. In other words, if the from index is less than the to index, then it's inserted after, which is this upper one here. All right, so so we're basically going to do the same thing. So let's go back to our code, and so first here we're going to we're going to use this disconnect task method, which is going to return an ID. So this is the from ID, disconnect task. Okay, so see, we're executing the indexes, so it's going to, here it's, the indexes come in, it's just a string with the from index and the to index separated by comma, and then we split those into the from index and the to index. So we've got our from index and a to index, and so we're going to start out here disconnecting the from task, disconnecting it from this. We're going to disconnect it from this. And in doing so, we have to reset all of these predecessor and successor links. And so we have to do that. First, we disconnect it, and then we're gonna the new successor ID, I'm going to call it 6 ID, is equal to the tasks, the to index task it's going to be equal to the 2-index tasks task ID. Okay. So we are inserting before. Okay, so this is the from index is bigger than the to index. So we're doing the bottom case first. We're inserting before. We're going from here to here. So we're going to insert. We've grabbed this out. We've detached this. So now 3 goes to 5. We've detached it, and then we're going to insert it before 2. We're going to insert it before this one. It's going to end up here. See, so we're going to insert it, actually before 2. So so that means that the successor ID, this for this new successor ID is now going to be the 2 index. See, it's the index of this. Okay, so it's this the successor is going to go to there, and the predecessor of 2 is going to now be 4. So but right now we're doing the successor of 4 and the predecessor of 4. That's what we're filling in right now. The successor of 4 and the predecessor of 4 is equal to the the tasks the tasks, the 2 index predecessor ID. So the predecessor ID of the new predecessor ID of 4 is going to be what the predecessor ID of 2 was. See, so whatever this was, this is the 2 index. The predecessor ID, that's what the predecessor ID is going to be of the one we're inserting in. So that's why this is the 2 index and this is the predecessor ID. And that's going to be the new predecessor ID of the task that we just attached, the from task. Okay, so now that we have the 2 successor and predecessor IDs, we can actually update that record. So I'm going to say SQL equals update table set successor ID equal to the successor ID that we just figured out, and the predecessor ID equals pred ID that we just figured out. Okay, where the task ID is equal to the from ID. Okay, the from ID is the ID of the disconnected task, which is what the from index. Now, it's possible that the task's predecessor ID is 0, but that would be okay. So this is okay. If the predecessor ID is 0, that's okay. So I don't think we have to do anything special here. So if there was no, if it's a 2 indexes, predecessor ID 0. No, it was set to 0. So I think that'll be okay. All right. Boy, not going to check this. Okay, so then we say the result is this. Result equals MySQL query con SQL, that's the statement, or die couldn't perform query SQL, couldn't perform that, and that was on line, that line in the program, colon, and then I'm going to give it the MySQL error. It's going to be lowercase. MySQL error of con dot a period. Put a period there, I guess. And close the parentheses and then that. Will that do it? I guess so. Not getting any errors. Okay, so that sets up the successor and predecessor IDs for the task that was to be moved. And now we have to go adjust we have to go and adjust. We yanked out this, so we have to adjust the predecessor of what was there. The predecessor has got to now point to here, and this what was the successor has now got to point back to here. See, so 3 and 5 are together. So how do I do that now? I say that the SQL equals update. I'm gonna do some copying. I'm gonna just copy this thing here first, and I'm gonna fix it because I don't have to type so much. Okay, update table set. Ooh, that's an error. Set predecessor ID. Set predecessor ID equal to from ID predecessor of from ID. Oh, predecessor ID equals from ID. Okay, right. So this is the one in front. So this is task 5. See, so I'm doing this one first. So that's got to go. That has got to be. From ID. Right. D. No, this is where's success ID? Not this. Okay, so basically what we're doing here is we're setting this this is the from ID is this thing. This is the from ID, and basically we're setting this one, which is the this is the successor ID. So this is set, and so we want to set this back to here. So the successor ID goes back to the from ID. Yeah, it goes back to the from ID. So if we go here, so the predecessor ID of the task that's a successor to where this was just inserted is equal to the from ID. Okay, that's good, and we can just execute the same thing again, and then we need to do a similar kind of thing for the successor ID. The successor ID of the from ID. Okay, here we're setting up. This is going to be predecessor. Okay, so I was mistaken when I was talking about what's going on over here. These links here get fixed when this gets detached. When this gets detached, these links all get all set up. So this last thing we're doing is we're setting up, the links here and here, which have to connect to its new neighbor here. So this is the last thing we're doing. That's what we're doing right now. So this updates the one that's being moved, and these two things update the nodes that are pointing to the one that was moved. These update the ones that are now need to point to the one that was moved. So the predecessor of the successor points back to the one that was just moved, and the successor of the predecessor has got to point to the one that was just moved. All right, so that takes care of moving in that direction. And now if we go back the other direction, let's see if we can just figure out what changes here now. So I'm going to start by copying all of this, down here. Okay? And then I'm just going to adjust these. So this from ID is the same, and the successor ID of this one points to the successor ID points to the tasks to index successor ID. Because we are inserting after. We're inserting after this one. So whatever this to index was the successor is now the successor of this new task, and the task ID of the to the task ID of the to field is now the predecessor of the task that we're going to insert that we've just disconnected. So we've just disconnected this task, and it's going to go after the to index. So that means we've just disconnected this task, and it's going to go after the to index. So that means that the successor of the to index is now the successor of the task that we just disconnected, and the predecessor of the task that we're going to insert is going to be the to index, the task ID of the to index. Yeah. Okay. So that's this here. All right. Now we're gonna we have to update the successor ID, predecessor ID of the from ID. This is the same. And then we're going to update the table's predecessor ID of the from ID. These are the same too. Successor ID, from ID, pred ID. Is that right? Is that all that changed? Okay. So successor ID predecessor from successor. Successor from predecessor. Okay, I think this might be it. Well, I'm going to save this and see what happens. All right, so I've got okay, so we've got a thing that looks like this: task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4, task 5. Got 2 task 5s. Oh, because I hit refresh or something. That's stupid. Okay, I'm gonna delete. Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna try removing. I'm gonna remove the last one. Remove equals the index, which is going to be 6. No. Yeah, 6. 1. Oh, that's right. 2. It's number 2, is that? Okay, so I'm going to remove number 5. Remove 5. Oop, remove 5. Okay, and now we have just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Task ID 5, 4, 3. Okay, now I'm going to move. I'm going to try moving 2 to 4. Okay, so I'm going to say move equals 2, 4. Okay, let's see what happens. We've got oh, 2 would be the third one. Yeah, the third one, which is here. Okay, so I should have did 1. I should have done 1, 3. Anyway, that worked. Let's do move. Let's move 3, 1. So what was 3 was 0, 1, 2, 3. Was this one must have been 3. Anyway, all right. Let's see if let's see how we've done here. So I think I've finished. So I'm gonna refresh the test here. All right, I got all the points. All right, so I'm gonna end the video here right now, and so this takes us through the API, and I'm gonna make one more video after this to show you how to connect up your implementation of Lab 10.11, how to modify that so it connects to this SQL API. So I'll make that in a moment. Thanks for watching.